With the 11th overall pick in the 2021 NBA draft, the Charlotte Hornets should select Keon Johnson. What's up and welcome to the Sam Dracula channel, a Charlotte Hornets fan channel. And today we are talking draft picks, at least one draft pick. I'm going to be making videos on every potential draft pick I think the Hornets could potentially, maybe, select in this year's draft. If you missed it, I made a video on why the Hornets should trade the 11th overall pick. If you want to go check that out, please do. I'll put it on the screen now. The general idea is like where the Hornets are drafting, any prospect that's selected probably won't help this team immediately. And considering how the season ended with the injuries faced, the roster depth issues, the Hornets need help now. So that's the general premise behind the idea of trading the pick. That being said, like I said in that video, I'm gonna say it again here, and until draft day, there's absolutely nothing wrong with staying exactly where the Hornets are at 11. And there's a wide range of guys that could be there when the Hornets are on the clock. I've isolated around 12 players that could be there. Just looking at other websites and how they have their mock drafts laid out, their big boards laid out. Let me show you the homework I've been doing. All the names on the left-hand side, from Scotty Barnes to Isaiah Jackson, I'm gonna be making videos on coming up, so stay tuned for that. Starting with Keon Johnson first, because I think it's very realistic that he could be there, A, and B, I think he's the most fun option possible. So why not start with the most fun outcome? I won't be making a video on Cade Cunningham, sorry. He won't be there. I'm not gonna get my hopes up, you know what I mean? So we're keeping it somewhat realistic, all right? And by the way, these players highlighted in yellow are players that have gone through workouts with the Hornets so far, just to call that out. I went on all these websites, ESPN, NBADraft.net, Ringer, Sports Illustrated, CBS, Sporting News, Bleacher Report, and The Athletic, right? And looked at their mock drafts, the players they had going to the Hornets, guys that were going like 10th, guys that were going 12th, just to get an idea of the pool of players that are in the Hornets range, you know, across all sources. And that's how I ended up with all these guys, with these players on the left. These rankings here, these numbers, are big board rankings for these players on respective websites. For instance, Scotty Barnes is ranked 5th on ESPN, ranked 11th on the Ringer. This column is just the average of all of these rankings. This video is gonna be specific to Keon Johnson. The next two will be on Bouknight and James Johnson, you know, and then as more players come through to the Hornets and pre-draft workouts, we'll do it in that order. Otherwise, I'm gonna do Scotty Barnes next and kind of work my way down the list. Like, look at this. It's the record, the all-time record. It's crazy. Imagine. Obviously, there's a lot more to basketball than jumping high and dunking, but it's pretty entertaining stuff. Hypothetical scenario here, and I think it's pretty likely. The Hornets would start, I assume, PJ Washington at the 4 when next season rolls around. And let's pretend they work out a deal to keep Malik Monk here. And that means you have Malik and Miles Bridges coming off the bench. Imagine adding a guy, a super athlete like Keon Johnson into that mix. That second unit would not allow the Hornets' energy to dip, right? When the Hornets have their second unit on the floor, if it's not clicking with any of the starters, you have boys to go to change the tempo and to force the other team to make adjustments when you can have 3 mega athletes like Malik, Keon, and Miles on the floor at the same time, or some combination of those guys. I think in the short term, Keon Johnson can offer that immediately. And then, you know, over time, as he gains more NBA experience, he can work on his shot, work on his ball handling, work on his defending, like round out his game like any other rookie would. But he's not any other rookie when you're talking athleticism. He's off the charts. Needless to say, when the Hornets are on the clock and Keon Johnson is there, I would love for them to select him. I'd be gassed about it. You know, they can address the center position later in the draft, or in a trade or in free agency. I think generally speaking, the Hornets are best off taking the best player available because they have a lot of needs. The Hornets have a serious depth issue. If any player the Hornets draft becomes a starter at some point this season, fantastic, obviously. But realistically, I just want that guy to be able to contribute in the rotation somewhat quickly because it needs to be improved. It needs to be improved. Hopefully the Hornets do something in the free agent market and the trade market to add more veterans there because this team was already very young, and adding another young player in the mix isn't a bad thing, but it doesn't solve the lack of experience issue the team currently has. I do not want a repeat of what happened against the Pacers. I don't want to see that again. It was the highest of highs with the lowest of lows last year. Gotta fix it. Gotta do better. Got to. High level, 27 games played, 11.3 points per game, 3.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists. This is more key here, the 45% from the floor and the 27% from three. Obviously, this isn't great, but when you look at his 3-point attempts per game, 1.8, it tells me he's not jacking the ball up and missing a bunch of jumpers, you know? He knows what he's good at and what he isn't good at, and he's here to address it. And he's hopefully here to address it. Middle of the road are the free throw percentage on his own team. Second in scoring on the team, third in assists, sixth in rebounds, fifth in blocks, first in turnovers, not great. First in fouls, not great either. All that's taught, all that's coached, assuming he has, he wants to improve those things, they will improve. This whole interview is 6.5 minutes long. He says all the right things throughout the entire thing. I was very impressed by it. But I'm just going to play this part.
I feel that being a two-way player just opens up my game. I feel that once I'm able to make shots outside the three-point line, it just opens up my game because I get to show my athleticism. But I also feel that I'm a good passer as well. So I just feel that I can keep the defense on their toes whenever I have the ball in my hands and making the right decisions.
Salute. This kid gets it. He gets it. He understands what he needs to do and what it takes. And hopefully, whether he's a Hornet or not, I'm rooting for him because it's gonna be a really fun addition to an already fun league. The more guys that can create viral clips, the more guys that have good personalities, the better in the NBA. It's what makes the NBA the NBA. They say his NBA comps. All right. I'm gonna skip the first name that came up because I've seen it in multiple places. I'm gonna skip it and come back to it. I'm gonna circle around to it. So redacted here, KCP and Gary Harris. Doesn't really blow your socks off, right? But when you think about what those guys offer and think about what the Hornets need, it's a perfect fit. The Hornets have several needs, mind you, because, Keon is not playing center anytime soon. But as far as what the Hornets need off the bench, that's a perfect match. The name I redacted was Latrell Sprewell, which was one of my favorite players growing up for a lot of different reasons. Very newsworthy individual, but I think really fun to watch on the court. He said a lot of things. He did a lot of things off the court. Actually, the craziest thing he did was on the court, I think. But anyway, Latrell Sprewell was like a whoa moment when I saw that because Latrell Sprewell is a madness. Latrell Sprewell was a 4-time All-Star. He was an All-NBA player. He was an All-Defense player. This guy was a madness. He was 18 points a game, 4 assists, 1.4 steals. He was a dog out there. If Keon Johnson's ceiling is Latrell Sprewell and basement is Gary Harris or KCP, that'd be a huge dub for the Hornets if they were able to land him and, he fulfilled his destiny, so to speak. I'm probably going to say this in all these draft videos, so pardon me. No matter who the Hornets pick, their work is not done as far as fixing and improving this roster. It doesn't end on draft day on the 29th. Free agency starts in August. The trade market is open. And for the most part, the finals are still going on. So those teams can't really make trades right now, but you know what I mean? we're approaching the Woj, the Shams Twitter bomb season with trades, free agency, etc. So a lot is left to be determined. I'm glad the Hornets took the time out to bring him in for a workout. I think that's a really good sign. Who knows if he'll be there, but they also brought in James Bouknight and Keon Johnson. So I'm gonna be making videos on them next. If you're watching this in the future, I've already made those videos. Go check those out. They're on my channel. But if you're watching this when it comes out, stay tuned for the Bouknight and Keon Johnson videos. And then whoever the Hornets bring in next, amongst my list of 13 names, we'll make a video on those guys too. We have some time to kill, and it's fun looking at potential draft picks. I'm very excited about this offseason for the Hornets. They killed it last year. The LaMelo pick. I think Vernon Carey and Nick Richards still have a lot to offer, by the way. I'm not ready to ship them out of town. They had no summer league, an abbreviated training camp, very unorthodox G League experience, and then regular season experience. They only really got to play in garbage time or only when a guy got hurt or in foul trouble. Like, it wasn't the best ramp up for those guys as incoming rookies. So I think those guys can offer a lot in year 2. So a lot to be determined, but I'm here for it every step of the way. Hope you are too. I really appreciate you listening and watching this video, all my videos, any of my videos. If this is the last one you watch, no hard feelings. Those are my thoughts on Keon Johnson. What do you think about him as a prospect? Would you want him here in Charlotte? Am I missing anyone from my list of players? Let me know in the comments. You can tweet me, send me a message on Instagram. I'm pretty available, easy to contact. So hit me up. Let me know what your thoughts are, and stay tuned for the next one. I'll see you next time. Peace.